We will attach this to one side of the truck, we'll install this on the other, and we'll kind of give some comparisons, maybe talk about it. I think this might be better for some people, just not me. So let's do it. Hey guys, Matt here. Today we're going to dig into our 23 Raptor project a little bit more. I've got the car seats out right now for something else, so it's providing a lot of extra room in the back seat to work on our seat back. So today we are going to install a set of BuiltRight seat back MOLLE panels. I did get served an ad the other day though from, I think it was an Amazon seller, for $55 for a plastic tech plate kit, a plastic MOLLE panel for the seat back. And I thought I've seen pictures of them, but I've never actually had my hands on one because I knew it wasn't for me. But we'll kind of do a little bit of a side-by-side comparison just for fun. And let's get into it. All right, so here we have the BuiltRight kit. I'm gonna open up this box. We'll see what's included in that before we take a look at the alternative here. So first thing we're gonna see is a couple of brackets. This is a solid steel bracket that is gonna attach to the bottom of the seat frame. The next thing we've got here is the upper bracket. This is gonna attach to the headrest posts using a couple of machined hardware pieces. It's kind of nice. We got two threaded inserts here for attaching, like, for example, a 2-bolt non-tack base. Maybe we'll do that for some iPads. We have a hardware kit. Hardware kit's got the two machined loops for the headrest posts, and then all the other miscellaneous hardware we'll need to finish the install. Catalog. And then hiding under here, we have the panel itself. This is 1/8" steel. That's about 11 gauge. CNC punched, laser cut. Very, very, very sturdy. Probably overbuilt for the inside of a truck. But that is the BuiltRight kit. So the next thing we'll look at is, and I haven't even opened this yet, this kit I bought from Amazon. I won't mention the seller because there's like 100 kits that all look the same. I think I picked the cheapest one. Alright, so that's it. This panel is very light, which is to be expected. Plastic, it's maybe a little under 1/4 inch thick. It feels small, but actually if I look at it here, it's not a lot smaller than the BuiltRight one. Maybe similar in height and 3 inches narrower. The thing that strikes me when I pick it up is like just the weight of the panel itself, and the straps are causing it to flop around. But maybe that's okay. This feels like a pretty light duty sort of thing anyhow. So we will attach this to one side of the truck, we'll install this on the other, and we'll kind of give some comparisons, maybe talk about it. I think this might be better for some people, just not me. So let's do it. All right, so I've got my some basic tools here. I've got just a simple socket set and Allen key set. I've got my hardware kit. I have my lower bracket, my upper bracket. I'm going to install the upper bracket here, then the lower bracket, and then we'll set up our panel and install our panel. I find that even if I want to reconfigure the panel, it's easier just to like pop the fasteners off and do so off the truck. Your results may vary, so I'm going to go ahead and get this upper bracket installed, then we'll check in on the bottom. Hardware kit here. Cringe a little bit as I dump it onto the floor. It's all there, we're good. So the first thing actually is, this is a really nice little machined part, but to give it some grip and protect your headrest, we've got a little pre-cut piece of foam. So I'm going to peel this foam off and stick it into each one of these brackets, and then trim it to length. Just helps kind of a little finishing touch on the install. All right, so I'm just pulling out the hardware that I need here. Some of these black bolts look similar. You'll notice that some of them are bigger or smaller. They're making this sound too much like an install guide. We don't need to do that. You guys, there is a f***ing install guide. I'm just gonna do it. All right, so we're bolting through. I can't help myself. I can't help myself. I just want to be helpful.
It's okay. We're just gonna break down the seat.
You're on your own. All right, so I've got these both installed loosely. What I'm going to do now is lift it up just a bit so it's not hanging on the seat back, and then snug these up. So I've got the upper bracket installed with the loops here. I'm going to leave it loose. I'm going to leave the headrest up for now because we'll tighten everything down once the back panel's on. Do you mind if I keep installing this?
It's clean though. He said that the car seats were going to be next.
They're over there if you want them.
No thanks. I have my own car seat to clean.
All right, so we're going to install this lower bracket. On this truck, there's no zippers on the side. Some of them have it, but the Raptor doesn't. Underneath here, holding this in here, are two elastic loops, and they're usually looped around an electrical connector in here, and sometimes you need to either unplug the connector or remove the like the tree clip to release it. All right, so we got those two unplugged. We'll plug them back in or clip them back into the seat bottom once we're done with the install. Let's install the lower bracket. All right, so we got the two holes here. This lower bracket's going to install basically just like this. Obviously, these holes are not threaded or anything, so this is where we're going to push these panel clips in. Backside of those will provide a threaded feature, 1/4 for us to bolt this bracket to. Just loosely started on each side. All right, so I'm going to finish tightening each of these two bolts, and then I'll rehook our upholstery, and we'll go ahead and install the panel. All right, so bottom bracket's bolted in there. I'm going to loop the upholstery back around. We will sometimes have people start cutting holes and drilling holes and stuff, and then call us and ask questions. Our products are not meant to require that, so before you start drilling holes in your truck, please call us. Now I'm just going to finish re-looping this upholstery, and we'll finish the install. All right, so on the passenger side, I'm going to have a pack out here. I think I'm going to build this into like a first aid kit, possibly, or a little tool kit. I want it favoring the door. And look, the bottom bracket is going to mount to these two slots, but that's okay. So I think I'm going to try and have this sitting like something like that, which leaves room over here, which is something that's easy to grab as you're driving for either one of our smaller pouches, or more likely I may actually set up like my flashlight and like maybe a fire extinguisher here. But I'm going to start with the pack out, and we'll build out from there. This installation is a little bit more involved, but one of the major advantages to having smaller, low-profile brackets like this, as opposed to like a full-size plate, which obviously we experimented with, is that, like, for example, I'm gonna have this hanging down here, but I want to mount using this feature right here. So if I had a full-size plate, I wouldn't even be able to put this off to the side because I'd be obscuring this mounting point. So that is the reason for these like really bare bones mounting hooks. I also don't need interface with all three of these. I'm just going to grab these top two in order to keep the pack out in place. All right, so we've got this latch retainer. Actually, on the inside, the way I'm using this is kind of optional because I don't anticipate my truck going airborne with this probably out here, but we'll bolt her in anyway because we have it. Nice. Yeah. I'm going to adjust this latch up a little ways. If everything is centered, then it's perfect. But I wasn't super careful about how I did these because I know that there's a ton of adjustment up here. So I'm just going to slip this up a little ways. All right, so we've got our pack out mounts here. As you can see, that's something that's easier to do with this panel, not on the seat back. Everything else we can do with either our MOLLE nuts or we'll be just weaving pouches and stuff through the MOLLE slots. So I'm gonna go ahead and reinstall this panel. All right, so I got the panel here. I'm gonna start by loosely getting these top few screws started. We can kind of let the panel hang, and then we'll get the bottom ones going. These are relatively centered. This looks pretty good up here, kind of locked into place more or less, so I'm gonna snug everything up now.
Nice. A lot of room still too. That's great.
All right, so we've got our stuff here. You can see that's really rigidly mounted to the seat. I think the seat would come out before this panel came off. We've got our pack out on here. Plenty of room for flashlight, fire extinguisher, pouch, whatever else I decide to configure here. The next thing I'm going to do is attach a 2-bolt base here of our Mountek mounts so that I can attach either an iPad, because I'm going to have a forward-facing child seat here, or a cell phone mount if I've got adult passengers on that. And then I'm going to install that Amazon kit over on the driver's seat just for giggles. All right, so last thing here, I've got some prototype Mountek stuff here I want to attach using these 10/32 threaded inserts up here. Just kind of a satisfyingly clean install. Plenty of room on the bottom. All right, we've got everything mounted up here on the passenger seat. We're gonna switch over to the driver's seat. All right, my plan is to loop this over the driver's side headrest and then do the same on the bottom, and then we'll tighten them up. Oh wait, I gotta tighten this.
Pretty quick install.
Is that as tight as it goes? Maybe if I tighten it all the way up, just as long as the buckle's not in my head.
So it's
Like if we do
cinches around there. Cinches around where you're sitting.
and this, because that must be what people do. This is pretty awful up here. We can't have that. So I have to sit down a little lower.
I mean,
That.
I get the idea, but it's just...
I just gotta get it tighter.
First impressions?
This can't be what people do. This can't be how people... No self-respecting Raptor owner would do this. This is insane. Yeah,
This isn't
if you
for
just
everybody.
wanted to like look, it doesn't even look cool. I don't know. It's not my thing. This is like the Wish.com version of... I mean, these were around before we made ours, but that's...
Were they really? I didn't even know that. Well, now you guys know. There's your comparison.
I guess, I mean, if you were just hanging a pouch or something from here and you really were mostly concerned with how it looked, it's not that...
Yeah, like you can hang stuff.
It's not that bad. Yeah, if you were going to hang a pouch or a couple of pouches on this, you could do that. The people that are hanging like firearms and stuff on these are a little bit insane, in my opinion.
I mean, I wouldn't put a fire extinguisher on there, and I don't think I'd put a pack
I wouldn't put
out.
anything rigid on this. This is for soft things.
Yeah. Soft people.
I don't know what else to say. Yeah, it's not. We're not competing for the same customer. So if this is something that makes you happy, by all means, that's probably the best choice. It really is shitty.
It's not good.
I cannot keep this in here though. I'm going to install one on the driver's side. All right, so that's that. Pretty straightforward. We've got BuiltRight Industries seat back tech plate panel installed on our passenger side here. Had a little fun with that cheap Amazon kit on the driver's side. I've got a pack out here, but I'm going to continue to set up this rear panel in a way that suits my needs for the truck, and we'll kind of keep you updated with that maybe in a future video or on Instagram or something. So that's it for this week. Check back next Monday.